Hey everyone, my name is Russell Brunson. I want to welcome you back to training today. I hope you've been enjoying everything in this training series so far, everything you learned from Tony Robbins, from Dean Graziosi, and I'm so excited to have a chance to present some really cool things for you as well. So those who don't know me, I started a software company a few years ago called ClickFunnels, which has been helping entrepreneurs from all around the world to use sales funnels to grow their companies. And so as Tony and Dean were kind of planning this whole project, Dean asked me if I'd be willing to come in and give you guys a special presentation on how we use funnels to fill our mastermind groups, our coaching programs, and all those types of things. And something I love talking about, and I'm so excited to share with you. Now, obviously, if you've been going through this training, there are a lot of different ways that you can use to fill your groups. And Dean's got ways, he's done it. Tony's got ways, he's done it. I've done it at live events. I've done it through a lot of different ways as well. But the way I want to really focus on for you guys is the thing that I think is the easiest and the most consistent, the way to consistently day in and day out get people to join your masterminds and your groups. And that's by using sales funnels. So I'm going to walk you through actually two different types of sales funnels I use to fill my coaching programs. And at the end of it, I'm actually going to give you the links to those sales funnels. Now, those of you guys who use ClickFunnels, you know we have this really cool thing called share funnels where I can share a funnel I created with you. So I'm literally going to share with you the funnel that I use to fill my coaching programs, and you just have to click on a button, and if you have a ClickFunnels account, it'll copy all of the pages into your funnel and into your ClickFunnels account, and then you can go and you can edit them and move things around and make it your own. And if you don't, then we'll give you guys a free trial of ClickFunnels as well, so you can start using it and playing with it. But we'll send you those things at the end of the training, and we'll probably have some links on the page down below. But right now, I just want to spend some time with you to help you understand the psychology behind what sales funnels are, how they work, and how we use them to sell really, really high-end, expensive coaching programs. Now, it's interesting, as we started going down this training program, that there are some things that people feel very confident in and some things people are nervous about. And there are a lot of people who are very nervous, like, how in the world do I get this stuff that's been in my head for so long? How do I extract it out of my mind, out of my brain, and put it in a way that I can coach people on it, and we can put them in group programs and things like that? And I know that Dean spent a ton of time on that side of it. So I'm not going to spend too much time walking through some of my thoughts and my ideas, because I think Dean's covered it in great detail throughout the training course. And the other side, people aren't nervous about how do we get this out of our mind. The second thing is like, well, how do I get people to actually get their wallet out and give me money to be part of these things? And I know that for me, that was one of the initial fears I had back when I got started in this business about 15 years ago. Is, I thought I knew a lot of stuff, but I was nervous about it, and it almost made me so nervous that I was scared to sell it to people. Sometimes I think it's interesting, a lot of us, because we're so good at our thing, we're scared to ask people for money. Sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy of the money, or sometimes we feel like, man, I should just give it to them for free because I care about this person. And I think what's the mindset shift that most people have to have is realizing, like, if I really want to serve this person, if they don't pay for it, they're not going to pay attention. It's been interesting, when I first started when I did my very first event, man, probably 13 or 14 years ago, and I sold tickets to it. It was my first time I ever taught internet marketing to anybody, and I put on this. I had an idea for a workshop, and I started selling tickets to it, and at first, nobody bought it. It was going to be $5,000, and I'm sure you felt that feeling before. You get the idea, you're all excited, you put the idea out there, and then nobody buys. It was like crickets. And the first day, nobody bought, and the second day, nobody bought, and I started freaking out. I'm like, I'm just going to cancel this. I'm just going to walk away. And then third day, somebody bought, which was like the best thing in the world, but it was also like the worst thing in the world, because somebody bought it. I was like, oh my gosh, we sold the ticket. And I was like, I only have one person coming to this event. I'm gonna feel horrible when I bring people to this group and there's only one person there. So I kept trying. I think we ended up selling 3 tickets to that event. And again, I didn't want to have just 3 people show up. And so I got all nervous. So I called all my friends and my family members, and I was like, I'm doing this workshop. This is what it's about. I'd love to have you come as my guest. And I had people that paid, so just don't tell them that you didn't pay to be here. And so a bunch of my friends came and my family members came, and I taught the workshop the very first time. And it was really cool, because it helped me to realize, like, the stuff that I did know, that people actually, like, everyone, as I was teaching it, they were like hanging on to every single word. And it was like, I got confidence of like, yes, this stuff that I have is valuable. And then I was like, well, how do I, I only got 3 people to sign up last time. How do I get more people to do that? And how do I do it consistently? So it's not just something I make a little bit of money for, once, but how do I turn this into an actual business? And, I spent a lot of years after that trying to figure it out. And what's interesting is one of the models that I use, and I'm not going to go deep in this model because I feel like it's a broken model, but just so you kind of understand where these concepts today came from, is we started selling things online. We'd sell a book or a CD or a DVD, and then the first thing we'd do, pick up the phone and call the person who's bought it, and then we'd offer them, hey, you bought this book, how would you like to have access to this coaching program, this group we're putting together? And we'd sell access to these coaching programs. And it worked well. We were able to make a lot of money, but the problem is that I had salespeople calling every single person who would come through, and eventually I had the point where where I had over 60 full-time salespeople. We had a huge operation, huge expenses, and it was a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of maintenance, a lot of people. And I know for a lot of us, that's not the kind of business we want. And I remember that was my first experience doing it. And because we were having success, we were making money, we were having an impact on people's lives, we kept doing it. But as soon as the economy shifted a little bit, things changed. That whole model kind of collapsed. And I went back to ground zero. And I started thinking, I got to figure out how in the world, how do I grow this? Because I love the impact I got. I love coaching people. I loved all that piece of it. But how do I grow that without having 60 people on the phone selling coaching for me? How do I do it? In a way that's consistently happening, where every single day we're adding new people, and it's not like these big surges of sales and no sales and sales and no sales. I've sold a lot of our mastermind groups at live events. When we do a big live event, we get anywhere from on the lower end 20 or 30 people to join, to the high end. We had one event we had like 650 people sign up for a coaching program in one event, and the infrastructure to be able to handle 650 new coaching clients in one day, it almost crushed us. It took us 2 or 3 months to recover from that, get everything in place, and be able to get to the spot where we could serve people at a really good level, but we weren't prepared for it. I was like, how do you create something that's consistent, where it's just consistently, I know how many people are coming into our programs. If I want, I can crank up the heat, or if it gets too much, I can turn it back down, and so I can just consistently have as many people I want in my program at a given time. And again, I can turn it off, I can turn it on, I can ramp it up, I can ramp it down, and doing that, I spent probably, looking back now, probably 6 or 7 years just testing different processes, different flows, different sales funnels, different models, a whole bunch of things until we got it dialed in and perfected. And after we perfected it for ourselves, I started showing it to my inner circle, which is my highest level mastermind group. And we got a whole bunch of people, probably 45 to 55% of the people who are in my high-end mastermind group are using this exact same model to sell their high-end coaching programs and their mastermind groups. And we've tested it over and over and over and over again. And so the process is not something we're just making up. This has been refined. Literally tens and tens of millions of dollars have gone through this process in every industry you can think of, from photography to business to weight loss to everything you can dream of. And so for whatever business you're in, I'm going to show you guys this process, this model, and you can literally plug in almost any product, any service, any business into it, and use it as a way to fill your programs. Now, again, there are a lot of ways to do it. You can sell. You can do it through webinars, through live events. There's so many different ways you can do it. But I'm going to show you guys what I feel are the most powerful and also the simplest way to get people consistently coming into your programs. And so that's what I'm going to be covering during today's training. I hope that you enjoy it. All right, so the title of my presentation today is how to use takeaway selling and funnels to fill your mastermind groups. So those are the two things we're going to be going deep into. Number one is takeaway selling, and number two are funnels. And for some of you guys who funnels might be a new concept, a funnel is just basically a process we take somebody through from they don't know who you are to you grab them, you get the information, you start warming them up to the point where they become a customer or a client of yours, and you take them through this sales process, the sales funnel. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. This is actually a picture on this side here of me inside of one of my high-end mastermind groups. I'm such a big fan of mastermind groups. We actually built inside my office here, just next door, entire wing that's just built specifically for my mastermind groups. And people come in here a couple times a year. We do our meetings right here inside the office. So something that, again, we're doing it every single day. We believe in it. It's something I hope you guys are all starting to start implementing and doing as well. Okay, so really quick, I mentioned this earlier. And I wanted to give you the results. So on this side here, this is a picture of our old sales floor. We had 60 full-time salespeople. And again, this process worked. But after the economy shifted a few years ago and everything kind of shifted down, we ended up closing the sales floor, letting go of all of our people. And I went through this process trying to figure it out. We eventually ended up building a sales funnel, and we took 2 of our salespeople back. And so this sales funnel and 2 people actually ended up at the point where now it generates more revenue than the entire sales floor 60 full-time people did. And so we went from 60 people down to just 2. And as I go through this process, you can literally model this, and with 1 or 2 salespeople, do revenue that some companies are using, like we used to use, have 60 full-time people. So it's a more efficient, easier, simpler way to do it with a lot less people, a lot less management. And at the end of the day, that means more profit for you, more revenue, and gives you the ability to have more impact with your customers as well. Okay, so the first concept I want to talk about is this concept of takeaway selling. A lot of times when we hear the word selling, we have a very negative connotation with that, of like, people out there calling you on the phone and, used car salesmen trying to sell you a car and being high pressure and pushing you. And I think when we had our old call center back in the day, we were selling people, right? Somebody would buy something from us, we'd call them on the phone, we'd try to sell them into a coaching program. And the problem with that is we had to call a lot of people, and most people were, a lot of people got annoyed. They got like, why are you calling me? And just the nature of how that worked, it doesn't end up for the most part, you end up, people who just bought a product from you, who love you now, are annoyed with you because you're calling them on the phone, you're outbound calling them and trying to get them to sign up for something, right? It just leaves a really, really bad taste. And so that's traditional selling. Now, takeaway selling is the principle this entire funnel works off of. When you understand what takeaway selling is, it shifts everything for you, okay? The first key you have to understand with takeaway selling is that you are not selling them, they are selling you, okay? You are not selling them, they are selling you. So what happens is you basically, through a funnel, as I'll show you here in a minute, I'm sharing a case study or a result or something amazing. I want them to see, like, look at this thing. This is a result I got for myself or for a customer, for a client. And I want them to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I want that result. And then it's like, hey, this is the result. If you're interested in this, like, come tell me why you think I should spend my time with you versus all the other people that want me to work with them right now. Okay, so it's shifting the table as opposed to, what do most salespeople do? Look at my thing. Here, like, you should buy it, and they're calling your phone, you should buy it, I promise you should buy it. Like, here's the features, here's the benefits, try to sell you on why they should buy this thing, right? And now, when you're selling somebody in that spot, your position of power is gone. Like, you're the one coming after them, kind of begging for the sale. But if I can transition the frame, transition the mindset to, here's this thing I have, here's the result I'm able to get for people, and you put it over here and say, if you want that, come let me know, and I'll talk to you, and I'll let you know if you're a good fit. Otherwise, I'm not gonna take you on as a customer. That's basically what takeaway sell is. It's switching from you chasing them for the sale to them chasing you because of the result that you're able to get them is so great, so exciting that they start chasing you to get that result into their life, okay? So that's the first thing. You're not selling them, they're selling too, okay? And so the first question I would ask you if you came to me and you're like, hey, Russell, how do I do a takeaway sell? And the first question is like, what's the result you offer somebody? Okay, if you're gonna be running a mastermind group or coaching program or anything like that, the big question at the end is like, what is the big result that you get for somebody? Okay, in my coaching programs, the big result I get for people is I'm gonna help them to get a funnel that will grow their company, right? I'm the funnel guy, like that's the thing. So like all my results are that. Okay, so that's the first question. For you, it's something different. Like, let's say you're in the weight loss market. So what do? Like, well, my result is to help women to lose weight or to feel more confident about their bodies. My goal is to help athletes to be able to increase their vertical. Or my goal is to help financial planners to blah, blah, blah. Or whatever your thing is, right? To help people who are trying to start haircutting businesses or to help people with their makeup. Like, plug in whatever it is you like. What's the big result you would get for somebody? Okay, if you were to run a mastermind group this weekend and have a whole bunch of people come to your house or come to your office or come to some location and they say, well, what am I going to get from this? That'd be my question. Like, what's the big result? What's the big goal you can get if somebody comes and experiences that process with you? Okay, so that's the first question. What's the result? And the second question is, do you have a case study of how you've already achieved that result, either for yourself or for somebody else? Okay, and if you have, that's what we need to build a takeaway funnel. Okay, and if you don't yet, then we need to get that first, right? And so again, we need a case study of how you've already achieved that result. Number one, for yourself, and then number two is for others. Okay, now I kind of break it down because a lot of times when you first get into business, for most people, the first result they have is their own, right? Like when I first started making money online, I was building this company online, I was making some money, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have a result for myself. And so when I started wanting to become a coach and tell other people, the only result I had was my own. And so I went out there, I started showing like, here's my success story. Let me tell you about my success story, right? And that's a strong position to be in, but it's not the strongest, okay? And so when I first started my Inner Circle coaching program, that's what it was. It's like, hey, I'm Russell, here's a bunch of funnels I built. You should hire me to become your coach because I know how to build funnels. Here's all the ones I've built. There was the big result I was able to show people, okay? And again, that was powerful, but moving forward, I wanted to build on a more solid foundation. So what I did is I started looking at like, who's my dream customer? Who would I love to work with if I could just pick anyone, pick them out of a group and say, this is the person I want to work with. And so for me, the person that I wanted to work with, I remember I wrote down, I want to work with somebody who in this kind of a business, this is a business that I'm interested in, something like this. And I started going through everything. And eventually, after I kind of made a list of who I wanted my dream customer to be, I started looking online, trying to find that person. I found this guy named Drew Canoli, and he owns a company, at the time it was called FitLife.tv. And since then, a lot of you guys may know him more so from a product he has called Organifi. But before he launched Organifi, I saw him online, I saw his ads running, and he's teaching people how to juice vegetables and drink stuff like that, right? And so I saw Drew, I was like, this guy's awesome. He's like about my same age, might be a little bit younger than me. He seems cool. Like I would hang out with him anyway. Like at the time I was totally into juicing. I was like he's like my dream client. And so I thought, I'm gonna see if I can make him one of my success stories. Because me telling everyone else like, hey, Russell can build a funnel is cool, but what's even better is if I can say, like not only can I do it for myself, I can help other people do it. So I called Drew up and I was like, hey, you don't know me yet, but I would love to come help you. And it was kind of funny because he was like, actually, I do know who you are. Why would you want to help me? And I was like, well, I just want to get a success story under my belt I can show people. And he's like, well, what do you want to charge me? I was like, I'll just come do it for free. And he was like, no, like that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? I'm like, because I'm trying to get a success, I'm trying to prove that what I know actually works. And I kept going back and forth. He didn't believe me. He's like, what's in it for you? And finally he's like, fine, if you really want to come work for free for me, come and do it. So I flew out to San Diego. I sat down with Drew and his team. And it was funny, we were in this conference room that didn't have any whiteboards. And so I had pens and markers. I'm writing in all the windows and drawing this stuff up. And we looked at his business and I saw where the holes were at. I saw where they were bleeding money, where they were struggling, and helped them to kind of refix their funnels and tweak those around. And they told me about, hey, we have this new supplement we're launching in the near future. And like, what would you do about that? And at the time I had a supplement that I was selling. I said, well, oh my gosh, I love supplements. Like, here's the funnel, here's how it works. And I said, here's the company that I use to name my supplement. So they went and they hired that company and they got the name back, Organifi. And then I said, this is the funnel. This is page 1, page 2, page 3, and mapped out the whole thing. They modeled it, and they took this funnel and they launched it. And that funnel ended up going on to within from initial launch day, it started doing about $20,000 a day in sales. I think first year I'm doing like $20 million in sales. Year 2 was like $40 million. It kept growing from there into this huge business. Right? So what I did is after I captured that, after I helped get that result for Drew, then I came back to him and said, hey, I got you this result. Can I capture your success story and share it with other people? And he was like, of course, you work for free for me. You helped blow up our company. I would love for you to do that. So I went out there, we filmed him telling his story about how working with me helped. Then I came back and I used that success story, and I'll show you the funnel frameworks here in a minute, but I used that success story. I replaced mine, I put his in, and a video of Drew saying, hey, I worked with Russell, this is the results I got from it, out-converted mine like 10 to 1, okay? And so that's the power, you guys, as you're doing this, is like, you gotta realize, like, what's the big result you get for people? So really identify that, figure out what that thing is, and then from there, it's like, you gotta again, first off, it's probably gonna be yourself, so that's the story I'm gonna tell, and then the other things like, how do we get this result for other people? Okay, and as you get results for other people, that becomes even more valuable tool than your own results, okay? So that's kind of how it works. And I'll show you where we plug these things here, how we plug them in the future. All right, so that's takeaway selling, okay? That's where this whole framework of this funnel works. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you guys through the first of the 2 funnels I'm going to show you. The first one is called the case study funnel. And it's a very simple funnel. It's 3 pages. This is what page number 1 looks like. This is what page number 2 looks like. And this is what page number 3 looks like. So again, it's 3 pages. And again, we call it a funnel because I'm taking everybody on the internet and I get a whole bunch of them that come to this page right here, the very first page. And then not everybody's going to go from page 1 to page 2, but a percentage of them do. So it gets a little bit smaller. The percentage goes to the next step, and the next step till a whole bunch of them at the bottom fall out and they become customers and clients for me. Okay? So we're funneling somebody through a process just like that. So this is what these 3 pages look like. I'm going to walk you through page by page, but just so you understand, that's what this the case study funnel looks like. Okay? All right, so page number 1, this is the free case study page. This is where I insert the case study of what I've done in the past, the result that I've gotten for myself or for somebody else. Okay, you can see this is an older one we had back in the day, but this was, we were helping people to build email lists at the time, and through a really cool type of funnel we call the black box funnel. So they said free case study, how one of our clients made $89,230 from a tiny list of people in less than 3 days. And then this video walks them through that case study, okay? So the first thing someone knows when they come to this page is they watch the video of the case study, whatever it is you got, okay? So when you start thinking, like, what's the tangible result you got for somebody or for yourself, okay? And the more tangible, the better. So it's like, here's how I lost this much weight in this much time, or here's how I made this much money in this much time. Here's how I, whatever the things, I'm usually trying to figure out how I did a certain type of thing in a certain amount of time, and that's the case study. Okay, so if you were to hire me right now and sit down in front of me and say, okay, what's my case study? This is the question I'd be asking. Like, well, tell me about your customers. Tell me about someone who had success. What was the results you got? How fast did you get that result for them? Those are the questions I'd be asking you. So the same question you should be asking yourself. Think back through all the people you've worked with in the past in your business. What are specific people? What's somebody that you did something amazing for? You got them a result, and then how fast did you get them the result? Okay, so the case study is basically, here's how I got so-and-so this result in X amount of time. Okay, that's kind of the best thing. So here it is, and then this is just a video here of me showing that result. It's not complicated. I'm like, hey, I told you as this person, here's her name, this is how it worked, this is what she did, and I just walk them through the entire case study of how I got the person that result. Okay, that's page number 1. So if someone comes there, they watch the video showing the case study, and then at the end of it, at the very end of the video, I say, look, if you want my help getting the same result for you, then apply down below. And that's it. It's a very simple transition. Here's the result that I got for somebody else. If you want this result as well, apply down below. And that's it. Okay, very simple. So watch the video and then they apply down below. Now, the only thing I ask for on the very first page is just their email address. And the reason why is you'll see on the next page, we have a long form application. If I ask somebody like 20 fields in an application on page 1, I lose a whole bunch of people and I do not have the ability to follow up with them. So all I ask for on the very first page is their email address. That way, if for some reason they don't finish the application page, I can keep sending them emails to remind them to finish the full long application from there. Okay, so that's the last step. Get email address so you can follow up with those who don't finish their application. And that's page number 1. All right, now taking to page number 2. So this is the actual application page. Now on this page, a couple things. First thing I'm going to do at the very beginning is I'm going to explain what it looks like to work with me. And I can do it through video, I can do it through text, but it basically says, hey, thank you so much for your interest in working with me to get this result, whatever it is. When I start working with people, this is kind of what it looks like. The first thing we do is this. Second thing we do, I kind of walk them through what it's going to look like to work with me. I want them to see a picture in their mind of like what this is going to look like to get them even more excited about working with me. Okay. Again, I'm setting up a takeaway, so I'm trying to show them like when you work with me to get this result, like I'm the best in the world at getting this result. Okay. And if you work with me, this is how it's going to look. And I want them to visualize that and get excited by that thing, because in the application, then I'm basically saying, why should I work with you to get this result? I know I can get it for people. I do it all the time. I got it for this person, for this person, this person. Why should I work with you? I'm super busy. I got tons of clients, but I'm curious, why do you think I should work with you on this thing? Okay. And so that's kind of doing is kind of tell them what it looks like and paint this vision of what's going to look like. And they say, okay, and if you really want to work with me, you need to apply. Tell me why you should work with me. And right from there, we have them fill out a full application. Okay. And again, I ask a lot of detailed questions in here. I'm walking us through some of the questions I ask here in a second, but I'm getting a full application. I'm trying to get them to excel themselves on me. Okay, when we pick up the phone to talk this person application, the more they've sold themselves on working with me, the easier the sell begins, because I'm not selling. I'm literally looking at the application. I'm trying to see if they're a good fit for me. Okay, I think one of the biggest problems that most people have in any kind of mastermind group is they let the wrong people in. This literally is a filter. Okay, it's a filter. You're saying, look, I just don't think you're a good fit, or oh my gosh, you'd be amazing to work with. Come on in the door. Okay, if you're putting together a mastermind group and you're letting anybody in the door, that's probably the fastest way to destroy the culture of a group. And so for all of my groups, like this isn't just a fake application. Like it literally is, they have to sell me on why they'd be a good fit. And then like I go through, other people go through, we look at it and see like, would we actually want this person in our group? If so, then we call them back and say, hey, we do think you'd be a good fit. And we walk them through the process from there. Does that make sense? And so the application isn't just to get people to sell themselves on you. It's literally to find the right people. Okay, you don't want to bring the wrong people in. It'll cannibalize your group and kill it fast. Okay, so what goes on in the application? People ask me this all the time. And I'm not going to give you a specific, like this has to be question 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Because if I do that, then everybody's look exactly the same that does these and they'll stop being as effective. So instead I'm going to walk through the psychology of the questions that I ask and the reasoning why I do it. Okay, so the first question I typically ask for me is like, what type of business do you own? And when I'm asking that, I'm usually asking like the type, like I'm in the startup phase, or I'm between, startup and I made 100 grand, a million, a million to 10. So I'm trying to figure out like, where do they actually fit? Okay, because for me, like my lowest end program right now is $25,000. My highest end is $250,000 to be in it, right? So we have different levels. So someone comes in and says, I'm in the startup phase, they may not be a good fit for my coaching program right now. But they say, look, I made over $1 million. I'm like, okay, you'd be a really good fit for one of my higher end coaching programs. But this helps me and whoever's gonna be talking on the phone to kind of qualify where they're gonna fit. Okay, and making sure they actually have money. Now, that's the way that I ask the question. Now, depending on what you're selling, you're going to ask this different, because you may not be looking at their business. Maybe you're helping them to lose weight, or you're helping them to do something different. Like I have a friend who his coaching program helps people get traffic into their funnels. Okay, and he knows I think he sells his program for $15,000. So he knows that if they don't have any money, I don't want to call them on the phone. So he asks me, and I says, how much do you currently spend each month on advertising? 0 to 5,000, 5 to 10, 10 to whatever, 50 to 100. So he says, if someone's only spending 0 to 5 grand in ads, it means they're probably not going to be able to afford $15,000 for them to teach them how to use ads, right? So he's using that question to qualify to see, is this person going to have enough money for me to actually go on the phone? Because you call every single person, a lot of times, your salesperson, people get burned out, things like that. So try to find a question to help qualify how much revenue they're actually making to see if they're going to be a good fit for my program. Okay, so that's the first thing is a revenue qualifier question. And again, it's not directly like how much money do you make. Typically, I have seen some people do that, which is totally cool. But I usually try to do it kind of a more roundabout way and just have them self-select where they fit, so I kind of understand about where their financial situation is before we ever pick up the call. Number 2 is I want to understand for them, if they come into this group, what does success look like for them at the end? Okay, because if you come in and people are like, my goal is to, if they get in my program, my success for me means I made $100 million. I'll be like, you're not a good fit for this program. Like, we may be able to do that, but like, I have no idea. And if we don't hit 100 grand or 100 million and you're gonna be upset, like, I don't want you in the program. Like, I wanna find out, what does success actually look like for you in the next 12 months? Like, what's the realistic look of that? My favorite question, I will give you specifics on this question because it's one of my favorites. If you read the book, The Question by Dan Sullivan, this is the question he posed that he uses for all of his coaching clients. And I put in every one of my applications because I think it's the best way for them to really get a good view of what success is gonna look like. So this is the question. He says, if we were having this discussion 3 years from today, and you were looking back over the last 3 years working with me, what would have had happened in your life, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress? So I always ask people that question. And for me, usually I shorten it from 3 years down to a year, because I want to know, like, in a year, what's it got to look like for them to be successful? You know, if I ask them what's your goals, everyone's got this big, huge goal. I want to make $1 billion, I want to lose 1,000 pounds, or whatever it is. If I say, look, in a year from now, you've done this program for a year, and we look back, what'll have to have happened for you to be successful? And then people get more honest and like, well, you know, if I was able to pay off my debt, that'd be awesome. If I had more time with my wife, that'd be great. And they kind of give more realistic things in a year. And so that's the question. If you want to go deeper into that, read the book, The Question by Dan Sullivan. It's one of my favorites. And he just goes, like, the psychology behind this question, how many doors it opens up. But it helps you understand exactly what they're looking for to be a client, and then you know exactly how to serve them as you're working with them inside of your group. Okay. All right. The next thing, this is where I start getting them to sell me. Like, why do you think you'd be a good fit for the group? Okay, and I'll specifically mine say stuff like, you know, we only allow, in my group we have 100 people in, like, we only allow 100 people in the group. So I'm curious, like, why do you think you'd be a good fit in this group? And this is when they start coming like, oh, I'd be awesome because of this and this, and they start selling me on why they would be amazing to be in the group. Okay, so I start getting them to go as crazy as much as possible to sell them. If they write back in the application like, I'd be awesome, I just ignore them, because I'm like, this person's not the right person. I want somebody who wants to be in here bad enough they're going to be willing to sell themselves on why they think why I should let them in. Okay, so why would you be a good fit for this group? This question actually came from the very first Mastermind group I ever joined. It was almost 15 years ago, and it was Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer's Mastermind group. And I remember I had first heard about it. I was like, I have to be in that group. That'll change my life. And so I called their office. I was like, I want to join this group, and they're like, you can't. It's closed. And there's like a 3-year waiting list. I was like, I don't care. Like, put me on the waiting list. Like, okay, you know, we'll call you in 3 years. I was like, no, I need to be in. And I kept calling him, texting him, and faxing him, and like sending him gifts and pizzas in the mail, like anything I could to get their attention, because I wanted to sell myself why I'd be a good fit in this group, right? And I went crazy writing everything I could to pitch them on why I'd be a good fit for the group. And finally, they got so annoyed by the little kid who wouldn't leave them alone. One day I got an email back like, fine, we'll let you in the group. Here's your application. Send the money in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at the next meeting. I was like, sweet, this is awesome. I looked at the page and it was $25,000. I was like, what? Like, literally to that point in my business, I'd only made about $25,000. It was 100% of all revenue I'd ever generated from any of my businesses, and that's why I wanted to join this group. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't wait for them to sell me on it. Because I had sold them so hard on why I should be part of the group, guess what happened? I went and found the money because I did not want to look like I couldn't afford it. So I went and found the money, I sent it to them, and I got in the group, and that group transformed my life. Okay, so that's what this question is all about, is like selling, like getting them to sell you on why you should allow them through the doors. Okay, and the last question here now is, if in any group that you're facilitating, that you're running any kind of mastermind group, if everyone comes and just takes, the group will implode and will die quickly. So the second question, or the last question here, is I want to find out, how can you actually contribute to the group, right? If we do decide to let you in, like, what value can you bring to the group? Because we're not bringing you in this group to suck everybody's brains and leave. Like, you need to come and contribute something. What do you have to contribute to the group? And this, they say, man, like, well, I'm really good at this and this. And if I come, I can help here, I can help here, I can help here. And the more people tell you about what they can contribute to the group, the more of an influence you know they're going to be when they do show up. And so those are the questions. What type of business do you own? So I can figure out I can qualify their revenue. Number 2, what does success look like for them? Number 3, why would you be a good fit for the group? And number 4 is, how can you contribute to the group? Those are the 4 types of questions I asked during the application process. Okay. All right. Then after somebody applies, we take them to the last page. So the first page they came in, they watched the success story, the case study video. They gave me the email address. Page number 2, I told them more about the program. They filled out a detailed application, selling themselves and why they should work with us. And then page 3, I take them to the homework page. And the goal of this page now is twofold. Number 1 is I need to build connection with them. Okay. I need to build connection. People buy from people that they trust. Okay, so I try to build connection with them, and so for me, like, I give them homework. I give them, like, we'll watch this video, go watch this video, go watch this video. And these videos are usually videos about success, or videos about my life, videos of things I know are going to connect them personally with me. Okay, up until this point, I've been showing a result, Like, tell me why I should let you in. And now that they're on the last page, I want to make them feel warm and comfortable so that when the phone call does come, they feel like they have a connection with me, okay? In fact, one of the funnels I'll show you here in a minute, on this page, I show a video. It's about a 10-minute long video of me telling my story about my wife and how we couldn't get pregnant and we had to go fertility doctors and this thing. In the video, I think I cried 2 or 3 times in the video and like totally all messed up. But I'm telling them why I'm so obsessed with businesses and entrepreneurs, because the entrepreneur who went out there was the one that helped my wife and I to get pregnant and all this kind of stuff, right? And so I tell that whole story about why I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and how one entrepreneur changed my life and how my goal is, if you're in my program, I want you changing other people's lives. And I share that from the very beginning right here, and it builds connection. I have people all the time who call to talk on the application who are in tears. Like, I watched your video, I bawled my eyes out, like, oh my gosh. And they trust me, they know me because I'm building connection on this page. Okay, so I do that. Again, if you watch down this page, you see like, watch the 7 Secrets of Success video down below. I tell more stories about myself in there. I'm doing things like that to build connection. Okay, that's the first thing. Number 2, my goal on this page is to get them to initiate an inbound call. Okay, so if you remember before, I told you that when I had the sales floor back in the day, we were out calling people like crazy, trying to call people and get them on the phone. When we shifted to takeaway selling, they fill an application and they wait for a call from us. Okay, but what I found is even more powerful is if I can get them to initiate the call. We found back in the day that if we outbound call somebody and call them on the phone, the lead was, I can't remember exactly what the numbers were at the time, but it was worth a certain amount of money per application. But if we got it where they actually called us, that person was worth about 4 times as much as if we outbound called them. So on the thank you page, I try to get them to call. I say, here's what to expect. Someone's gonna give you a call off my team. Here's what they look like. They're really normal people. We're calling it a first come, first serve basis. It might take 2 or 3 days to get to you. But if you're ready to start right now and you wanna jump to the front of the line, give us a call. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get in, but it means that if you call, they're gonna pick up the phone, they're gonna find your application, and we'll start the conversation right now. But you've got to initiate that call if you wanna get started and jump to the front of the line. Here's the phone number, give us a call right now. And get them to initiate the phone call. And every single time the phone rings, I know that person's worth 4 times as much to me as the person that I'm outbound calling. Okay, and so that's the magic what happens on the connection and the homework page. Build connection and try to get them to initiate a phone call. Okay, and that's kind of how these pages work. Okay, so you guys, that was the case study funnel. Next funnel I'm gonna show you is very similar, just so you know, like they're not super different, but instead of a case study, I'm gonna be showing a success story. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you another one just to see what it looks like. So again, the same thing as a 3-page funnel. It's very simple and it's very easy. Okay, page 1 now on this is a little bit different. I'll walk through the pages. And this one I'm telling a success story of one of my clients. Then the same thing here, I paint the vision of what's gonna be happening during the coaching program, and then boom, I have homework and connection video at the end, and I try to get them to initiate an inbound call. Okay, so walk through this page again. Hey, I'm looking for some of my dream clients. Here's one that worked for me. Watch her story, and then if you wanna work with me, let me know. And then watch this video. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys this video because I want you to see like how simple but how powerful this video is. It's not a 30-minute long video. It's not me selling the coaching program, not anything. It's basically Liz Benny here saying, I worked with Russell and this is what happened because of it. Notice there's no income claims, there's no guarantees. She says it's hard work, like all these things, like it creates the perfect dream customer afterwards. So someone comes here, they watch that video and they say, man, I saw what they did for Liz. I think he can do that for me as well. And we ask them to apply. Okay, so I'm going to show you this video. It's a very short video, but just listen to this because I want you, as you're watching this, think about your clients. Like, who have you served in the past that's had success? Okay, who's your Liz Benny you could grab and capture a story of this? Who's your Drew Canoa you can grab and capture a story? Like, who are the people that you've impacted, you've had given results, you can go and you can capture their story. Okay, every one of these stories can be worth literally millions of dollars to you. Okay, we ran Liz's story here on the front page of this application funnel for years and years and years, and it made millions and millions of dollars for us. Okay, so let me show you guys this video really quick.
So I want to tell you something. Hiring Russell Brunson was bar none one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And I want to tell you that when you work with him, he takes you on this journey that you won't even know that you're going to go on. Like I at the very beginning, I had all these hopes and dreams and visions, and I honestly thought that, yay, I'm working with the overnight success maker, and like I thought, whoa, I'm going to make like $500,000 in the first month of working with him. But you know what? The eventuality is that sometimes in life it doesn't always work out the exact way that you want it to work out, and that's certainly where it got to for me. So my 2014 was one of the hardest years I've ever had in my entire life. Like, there was cancer in the family, people were in hospital. I thought I was gonna, at one stage I I thought I was going to lose my partner. Like, it just wasn't a pleasant scenario at all. And by losing my partner, I mean like hospitalization, like really not, like from really bad health issues. And there were just times when I promise you I wanted to give up. And sometimes I actually, when I say that, I don't just mean give up in business. Like for me, when I hired Russell, it really was like it sounds really dramatic, but like my life's mission, it's so big. Like I really, really, really wanted to connect with someone who could get me to the next level, who could help me really get from that really stranded, grounded place, sitting at my office every single day, to a place where I'm, helping like people all around the world. And that's why I chose Russell. But man, it was hard. It was really, really, really hard at times to have to deal with those things that come up in your personal life all the time. Like, it was not an easy scenario in 2014, but I'm really, really, really grateful that I listened to Russell. I'm really grateful that I hired him as a coach. Like, the man has changed my life forever. Like, once you're, like, my mind has been blown completely, and there's no way back. Like, I know that anything is possible now.
All right, so you guys see how powerful that is? Again, no income claims, it was just her telling her story about what it was like to work with me. Okay, and so for you, it's the same thing. Like, who do you have that you've worked with, you've given some kind of result? Go and get that person, say, hey, can I interview you? And obviously we did an amazing job capturing this one, but I've seen people who literally get their iPhones out, they click record and say, tell me your story. And they'll capture their story the same way and be able to make amazing videos like that. Now, this is the other cool benefit. The more results you get for people, the more of these videos you can create. Okay, again, when the funnel's done, you can go and make multiple copies of the funnel. Just clone the funnel and take out your Liz Benny story and plug in your Drew Canoli story, and then copy that one. And eventually you can have 5, 10, 15, 20 different funnels, all cranking out sales for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So in my mind, every time I'm giving somebody a result and they have success, I'm like, oh my gosh, I helped that person transform. Now, if I can capture that story, that's gonna help me grab a whole new segment of the market and bring them in. Okay, when we started showing Liz's story, it was amazing because tons of women started coming to our world that weren't there before. When we had Drew's story, a bunch of people like Drew started coming in. When it was my story, it was people like me. And so the more stories you get from more customers, the more different segments of the market you're able to bring in as well. So it's kind of the side benefit of getting people results. Every time you blow someone's mind, you change their life, then you can capture that story and you can use it to bring them into your world. Okay. All right. So that's the first page. Again, this is just a video telling a success story from one of your clients, one of your customers. And then afterwards it says, look, if you want to be like Liz, I know I did this for Liz, I think I can do it for you as well. Just apply down below and let us know. They apply down below. So for me, they click on this button here, it pops open, we get their email address. Again, it's just page 1, we just get their email. And then moves to page number 2, which now on page number 2 is where we actually have the longer form application. We just get an email once again so we can follow up with that person, okay? So now on page number 2. So page number 2 on this one, again, same process, the last one I showed you, except for this one I had a video doing the same thing, talking about what it's gonna be like when they start working the program. I show a bunch of success stories and testimonials of people who went through this process, and then we have them go and fill out the application. The application for me is exactly the same on this funnel as it was on the last funnel. Same questions, same everything. It's a very similar process, okay? So again, here we explain what it's gonna look like to work with me, then I have them fill out the more full application. Okay, that's the application page. And then page number 3, once again, is the connection and homework. And this is the actual picture of me telling my story about my wife and I trying to get pregnant and the entrepreneur who changed our lives. And people watch this and they get emotional and then they sign up. When someone calls them on the phone, they're like, man, Russell's different. He's not like all the other people out there who are just looking for a quick buck. Like, I actually have connection with him. I actually like him. I actually trust him. And so for me, it's like, what kind of video, what kind of story could you tell that gets people to like you more? Right? I see people a lot of times who on this page right here might be like, hey, in their office, like, hey, I'm Russell. We just got your application. This is what it's gonna look like. And then they'll walk over. This is Julie. She's gonna get the application to read through. If she thinks you're a good fit, she's gonna call Danny over here. And this is Danny. You want to meet Danny? He'll be the guy who calls you on the phone. And then Danny's gonna talk to you, make sure you're a good fit. And if so, then he's gonna pass you off to Joey over here. And Joey's gonna call. And if he says you're a good fit, that means you're in. Then you walk over here. Melanie's gonna correct your credit card. And then I'll be on the phone with you next week and during our first coaching call. Right? Just very simple. We kind of walk through like what's going to happen, explain to them so it's not weird. There's no set cut rules. It's just like, how do I build connection with them? How do I get them to trust me? And so for me, it's telling stories, it's showing them what's happening, what the process is, all the things so they don't feel weird or left out or things like that. Okay. All right, so again, give them the homework that builds connection. And then again, same thing I told you before, I'm trying to get them to initiate a phone call. If I can get them to call me as opposed to me calling them, it increases the value of that person by 4. And so I try to get them to initiate the call. In fact, for me, I have a whole bunch of emails going out as well. Like, hey, we've got a lot of applications. If you want to jump the line, give us this call. Here's the number again. I get them to initiate the call as well. Okay. All right. So then the last thing I'm going to cover in this training is, and I'm not going to go super detailed, but a lot of people ask me like, well, how do I get people into my funnel? What does that look like, Russell? And so here's the funnel, right? It's very simple. You've got the 3-page funnel, however you lay it out. It's 3 pages. And then what I do is I say, okay, who are my dream clients? Like my headline here is literally, I'm looking for a few more of my dream clients. So my question for you is like, who are your dream clients? Okay. If you could pick anybody from the world to work with, what would they actually look like? Okay. And that'd be the first question. Then the second question is like, well, who's already congregated those people together? Okay. And so for me, I remember the very first time I went to Tony Robbins' event was over probably 11 or 12 years ago now. I went to UPW. For those who haven't been there, you need to go. We walked on fire, had an amazing experience. I'm looking around this audience. I'm like, these people are amazing. Like all of them are energy. They're excited. They're happy about life. Like I love to work with these kind of people, right? And so for me, like if I was trying to find my dream customer, I'd say people like that would go to a Tony Robbins event and are interested in entrepreneurship. Like that's the cross section of who I would love to work with, right? So if you look at this, the coolest thing about ad networks now, again, I'm not gonna go deep into this because it's outside the context of this course, but on different ad networks, here's Tony Robbins, right? Tony's got 3.1 million people following him. Here's Gary Vaynerchuk, he's got 2.3. You can do this, I can find 100 different influencers on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. And what's cool about all these platforms let you do is say, okay, I wanna find people who are interested in Tony Robbins and entrepreneurship, and say from the 3.2 million, how many are interested in both? And say, oh, there's 180,000 people. And say, okay, cool, 180,000 people who are interested in Tony and being an entrepreneur, I want to show them my ad. And you say, well, what should I put on the ad, Russell? Well, it's almost too simple. You're almost not going to believe me. This video right here should become your ad. Like it's that simple. They'll literally see that in their news feed. They'll see the face of someone telling a story. They'll see it like, oh, and they click the video, they watch it. Like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I do want to be like that. And they click on the link, which then take them back to the funnel page, and guess what? The video's there again. People are like, oh, Russell, they already watched the video. They don't want to watch it again. It's like, no, you understand. Your dream customer who just got connection with that video will watch it again. We've done a million different tests on different things, and having the same video on 2 things, for some reason, helps increase conversions on everything else happening throughout the funnel, okay? And again, I wish I could spend the next 3 days just going deep into traffic and things like that. But I want you to understand, like, that's how it works. You figure out who already has congregated together your dream customers and where do they congregate on Facebook, on Instagram, and then all those ad platforms allow you to go and actually bid on those things, saying all Tony Robbins fans who like entrepreneurship, show them this ad. All the Gary Vaynerchuk, maybe say all the Gary Vaynerchuk fans who are females, show them Liz's picture. And maybe all the Gary Vaynerchuk males, I show them Drew's video, whatever it is, I can plug in whatever you want. But that's kind of the concept is you're finding those groups of people and find out exactly what's the cross sections of what you're looking for and you plug them in, okay? And the last question that I give people all the time is like, what's the math behind this funnel? How does it work, okay? And so, we've been running these kind of funnels now for a long, long time. And what we look for in our business, and every business is gonna be a little different, so I always get nervous kind of sharing these numbers, but they kind of, at least it'll give you some benchmarks of where to look at things, okay? So for us, typically on Facebook and things like that, we're driving somebody into the funnel, right? They're coming from the ad to the email to this right here. This is the application page where we're trying to get the application. Usually it'll cost us anywhere from $60 to $100 to get this application. Okay, so that's the numbers. If it goes over $100, that's I'm like, okay, something's not right. My email sequence isn't good enough. My video wasn't good enough. My hook, like something wasn't right. I need to tweak something in here in my messaging. Okay, but if it's anywhere from $60 to $100, and if it's less than 60, like we have a party, right? But if it's about $100, it's like, okay, that's kind of the sweet spot. You get $100 per application, and then our sales team will call these applications on the phone and try to get them into our coaching program. And on average, we make about $1,500 to $100 per application. Okay, so if you do the math on that, it means you spend $100 to get an application, and then you make about $1,500 from the actual coaching. Now we're selling $25,000 to $50,000 coaching packages. Some people might sell, $5,000 to $10,000. So maybe it's smaller, but maybe your $100 application and you're making $500. That's still an amazing business. You put $100 in, you get $500 out. I would, it's like if you had an ATM machine or a slot machine, put $100 in, you got $500 out every single time. You just keep pulling that thing like crazy, right? And that's the magic when you have a funnel that actually works. Is hey, I can go spend money on Facebook, and that's what's going to happen. Okay. Now the reason why I love this concept to fill your masterminds, your coaching programs, your groups, all those things like that, is because you can literally go and you can crank it up and you can crank it down, right? When we get this going and say, okay, I want to get about I want to get, let's say it's one person a day to join my programs. I say, okay, for one person a day, I can reverse engineer. I know that 1 out of 10 people we talk to on the phone signs up for coaching, or whatever that number might be, right? That means I need at least 10 applications a day to get that. So if I'm spending $100 a day, or $100 per applications a day, I spend $1,000 a day. It means I got to spend $1,000 in ads over here to be able to get one person a day to sign up for my $5,000 or $6,000 coaching program or my mastermind group, right? And I start looking at, kind of reverse engineer that. If I say, okay, right now I want to get more people in, so let's turn that up a little bit. Let's get a point where I'm going to get 20 of these a day or 30 of these a day. I can just crank it up and then get those. And if it starts getting overwhelming, or it's Christmas vacation, or whatever, summer's coming up and we want to take some time off, I just lower my ad spend here. It lowers how many applications come in here, and I have less people for my salespeople to talk to. And you can turn it up and you can turn it down really, really quick. Like I said, the biggest problem we had at selling our mastermind groups at our big events is we'll get 4,000 people in a room. We'll sell 650 people on a coaching program, and for the next 3 or 4 months, we're trying to scramble to figure out how to get people coaches and get people plugged in, and it's just like a lot of stress. Whereas this is very simple. You just kind of increase it and decrease it based on what you're trying to do, okay? And some of you guys, I know you're looking to fill a group of 10 people or 20 people, or maybe it's, it's not that big a deal. So what's nice is you create this, you turn on the traffic, you get people coming into here, and you start the process, you test it out, and as soon as it's filled, and boom, you turn it off, and then just wait. And as soon as you're like, okay, I want my next, I'm going to open a second group or a third group, I want to build a bigger group, then you can turn back on. You can literally keep turning them on and off whenever you want it. But it gives you the ability to generate dream clients, getting applications at will just by plugging people in the funnel. So that's kind of how the whole funnel process works. Okay, so I showed you guys the 2 basic funnels that we've used to fill up all of my mastermind, my coaching groups, and everything. They're very basic and very simple. One is a free case study funnel, and one is a success story funnel. As you saw, they're both very similar and very basic. They're both using the concept of takeaway selling to get people to sell themselves on why you should allow them to join your programs. And they just work. I've tried a whole bunch of different ways to fill these groups in the past, and it just makes it so simple. So what I want to do is we actually wanted to give you both of these funnels for free. I was telling Dean about this, and I showed him behind the scenes of the funnels. He said, man, we should create these and give them to everybody. I said, let's do it. So inside of ClickFunnels, there's a really cool feature that we have that we call share funnels, which means I can build a funnel, I can share it into your account. And so if you already have a ClickFunnels account, on the screen down below there'll be a link for each funnel, one for the success story funnel, one for the case study funnel. And you click on the button and it'll automatically take all the pages from my funnel and it'll plug it into your ClickFunnels account. Then you can log in, you can basically take my logo out and plug your logo in, take out my video, plug your video in, and you can just cut and paste and tweak the funnels to look, to kind of match your brand and be able to sell whatever it is that you're actually selling in a very short, easy way. Now, if you don't have a ClickFunnels account, that's totally cool as well. What we'll do is we'll give you a 2-week free trial that we can click on it. You got 2 weeks to go and set it all up and decide if you actually want to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's totally cool as well. But we just wanted to give you a shortcut so you can start using these funnels in your business as quick as humanly possible. And so that's what we decided to do. So with that said, I want to thank you guys again for being part of this training. I hope you've enjoyed everything from Tony, of course. How can you not enjoy Tony stuff? Everything from Dean, and hopefully you enjoyed this bonus session as well, and that helped you understand how takeaway sales work and how you can use them and sales funnels to fill up all of your masterminds, your groups, and your coaching programs as well.